Okay, as we are discussing about the motivation is one of the most important thing. And unless and until we are motivated, we cannot do anything. Sometimes we may face failure. అప్పుడప్పుడు మనం నిరుత్సాహపడతాం. ఎందుకంటే మనం అనుకున్నది సాధించలేనప్పుడు మనం నిరుత్సాహపడతాం. నిరుత్సాహపడటం ఒక విధంగా that is nothing but natural. But if you are brooding over the same issue and getting into depression, that will ruin your career. So what I would like to tell, if there is a failure, that means that is an experience. You will definitely know why you have failed in that attempt. So it is giving an opportunity to train yourself perfectly and do the right thing. So that is the reason all over the globe people are encouraged to have a right motivation and right spirit to do the right thing. You may be wondering, the top bureaucrats like Indian Administrative Services, Indian Police Services, Indian Foreign Services, and all these civil services, you may be thinking that they are genius. I personally interacted with many of the top bureaucrats, but I beg to differ. They are not the top intelligent. You are intelligent. You are intelligent. Don't underestimate your intelligence, your innovativeness. You see, God has gifted us with different type of abilities, different type of calibers. So we have to make use of it. We are simply hiding and simply forgetting about your ability. Suppose your aptitude is towards arts. Your aptitude is about, as a technocrat. Your aptitude might be towards sciences. Your aptitude might be to the astronomical developments and space technology. So each one having their own attitude. You see, whatever the work a person is doing, he should do it well. And my humble suggestion to you all, don't underestimate anybody, whether he is an auto driver, whether he is a vegetable seller, whether he is a fruit seller, or whatever it may be. Everybody having a talent. Everybody is having an aptitude. You see, say for example, our farmers are producing so much of food grains, vegetables, fruits. How they are producing it? Because they have got vision. They have got, they are motivated to do something. They never get disappointed by the natural calamities. Sometimes there are big storms. Sometimes there are floods. And due to that, their crop may be sometimes totally destroyed. But with the same vigor, with much more enthusiasm, next year again he cultivate and produce the grains. That's why we are not having any deficit of food. You see, India is producing food grains to a very high degree of whatever we require. There was a green revolution. Earlier to that, you may not be knowing, or you might not have been born. There used to be PL 480, which America used to supply food plenty, shipload of wheat, shipload of grains, shipload of rice used to reach India. Otherwise, the Indians, we should have been all starved to death. But they were kind enough, they were giving food. Later, as per PL 480, certain percentage, very marginal percentage, they can spend in India. That amount has accumulated to billions and billions of dollars. That means they can even buy one state. In such a situation, our former Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi, and even earlier, they have requested the US government to write off all this loan. So they were graciously, they have written off. So there was no loan to US. But at the same time, they have supplied enough food to us, and not only food, they used to supply even edible oil, the butter, whatever it may be. So in that way, we are very grateful to that nation. So, but at the same time, the farmers in US, they are very meticulous and they are very wise, and agricultural, they have modernized to such an extent that human involvement is very limited, but they are producing a lot of vegetables, lot of fruits, lot of grains, and it was all so scientifically they make it. While I was visiting California, I have seen some of the gardens, the vineyards, and this badam, trees. It's all very small, but that used to yield plenty of fruit. So in that way, then you see whatever the fruits you see, whether it is oranges, whether it is apples, abundant. One issue is their soil is fertile, and other issue is their farmers are sincere. And third thing is agricultural research is very much advanced. They can produce, even for a small tree, bunches of fruits that used to eat. So why I am telling, you should have that motivation, that spirit. You must do something. Our all ancient scientists, whether they have invented the electric bulb, or whether it is steam engine, or whether it is any mechanical equipment, now presently the electronic chips and electronic advancement, this innovation is done by a dropouts. The Bill Gates, he could not do his high school graduation. He is a dropout. But at the same time, he was not discouraged about his inability to do his schooling and about inability not to have the graduation. But at the same time, he was using his ability, he was using his mental caliber, and he has come up. Now he is one of the richest person in US, not only US, globally. And he is running so many charitable institutions. So that is how he is well known. So coming back to motivation, those who are already having a motivation to do something, it is okay, very good. But at the same time, I want to caution all those who are suffering constant failures and getting disappointed, getting depressed, that is not at all good. Try to dig out your caliber. Try to dig out your efficiency. God has given you certain gift. Suppose you wanted to be a electronic expert, but your caliber and your efficiency is somewhere else. So try to find out in which field you are good. That's why nowadays in the modern education, they always try to find out the aptitude of the student. Your aptitude is towards arts, you should take arts. Your aptitude is towards science, you should obtain science graduation and do research and find out something the world which so far could not able to understand. That's why I keep telling, the failure is not at all a setback. Failure is an experience. I have interviewed some of the top bureaucrats. What's the level of their education in graduation? You may be quite surprised to know some of the top bureaucrats, they are all compartmentally they passed. But for this CVs, they have slogged and they have put all their effort and they really worked day and night, and their only aim was they wanted to pass through the written exam, then pass through the interview and wanted to become an officer with the government of India. But at the same time, I tell you, IAS is not the ultimate goal or ultimate aim. Even there are much more advanced intellectual courses. You must try to do it. One, monetary gain by becoming a bureaucrat, you may be monetarily gaining. Politically, you may be getting influenced. But there are certain courses, certain institutions where there may not be a proper recognition, but the world requires persons like you. So one should always improve your caliber and capability, and don't be discouraged, don't be disappointed, don't be depressed. You have to have a full confidence on you, a full faith on you, and full faith on Almighty who has created you. He has given you certain knowledge, certain ability, certain caliber. You must fully utilize it. Don't try to bury your talent, by digging a ditch, and don't bury it. You have to use it fruitfully. You have to utilize it completely. So, my humble advice to you all youngsters, do it well. Don't be discouraged. There are so many ways and means to come up. And suppose some guy in your class, he may be coming all the time first. You see, you may be trying, but you are not able to. But don't think that is the ultimate goal. Say, for example, in my class, I always used to be average. And I never tried to be first also, because I am happy. I used to do a minimum study, and somehow, by the grace of God, used to complete my studies. But I used to give my interest in all the fields, in extracurricular activities, in student union activities, games, sports, and whatnot. So, even in my technical studies, I was not a topper. But by the grace of God, when I have been selected by UPSC for a post, and later, of course, I took up a job in International Airports Authority of India. Later, it became Airports Authority of India, and associated with so many works. And let me tell you, the persons who were university first gold medalists, they could not able to handle all the issues, because they know only one thing: academically they are very good, very rich, but while executing the thing, they do not know the techniques, they do not know the caliber. That's why, you should have all sorts of activities. I don't suggest you show a little attention towards the studies. Please, I am not trying to misguide you. You have to show an utmost importance to studies, because I am giving an example so that all those who are average should not think your goal you may not achieve. You will definitely achieve your goal, and definitely you will succeed in your attempts, and you can do something. So that confidence shall be with you. You should have that confidence. I am going to do something great, something big, something very dynamic. If you have that confidence, you will achieve it. Whatever you want to have, you have it. You dream it and you implement it. But simply dreaming and sleeping and dreaming, it will not work. Dream it, adopt it, and execute it, and try to achieve it. Then you will definitely reach your goal. With this small advice, I conclude. Thank you all.